are going to go straight into the second of the IPAX Talks panels for today, and we are going to delve into the world of interior design. So without further ado, I'd like to warmly welcome our speakers to the stage, beginning with Mr. Swaviman Das. He's the Senior Director at Design at Space Matrix India. Yes, give him a big round of applause as he makes his way on the stage. He's a seasoned architect and design professional with over 15 years of experience specializing in industrial design. He has a master's degree from the School of Planning and Architecture in New Delhi. Swaviman has consistently led dynamic design teams and completed unique projects for the corporate giants, and his project planning and management skills are geared towards creating unique yet engaging experiences. Next, Mr. Jackal Chua, Managing Director of Metrics Global. He's with us from Malaysia. Warm welcome to you. He has a wide experience in interior architecture, design and building, providing a range of services to major property developments in Malaysia. He has expertise in Malaysia's property development industry, and Metrics Global has won many awards and international recognition for interior design. Excellent. Thank you very much for joining us. Next, Mr. Joseph Cruz, from the Global Principal at HBA Gaming. A warm welcome to you. He brings with him a strong track record of premium gaming projects and more than 30 years experience designing gaming and hospitality projects for leading firms. Joey lives for collaboration, and he always encourages his clients to be vocal with their ideas so that he and his team can curate and transform them into a bespoke setting with his own story to tell. And very delighted to have you here, and we're looking forward to hearing your stories. Now, just to add to that, Joey was part of the design team responsible for the world's most illustrious casinos on the Las Vegas Strip, including SLS Hotel and Resort Casino, Bellagio, Mirage Hotel Resort and Casino, Monte Carlo Hotel Resort and Casino, and that's just to name a few. Next, Mr. Wiza Hidayat, the CEO of Arkadia Works, joining us from Indonesia. Wiza is an engineer, designer and green building professional with a mission to enable people to have a happy, healthy and comfortable space to work. Since Wiza founded Arkadia Works, he has delivered hundreds of workplace transformation projects. He works to passionately improve the well-being of individuals through creative office designs where innovative minds have a purposeful space to collaborate. Ms. Saivipa Patpongpibul, Executive Director of P49 Design. She has over 16 years experience in hospitality design for projects in Thailand as well as abroad as well. Her works include award-winning properties such as the Intercontinental Hotel Samui here in Thailand, and more recently the Renaissance Pattaya Resort and Spa. She participated as ASDA judge in 2022 and is well known here among the Thai Interior Design Association. Last but not least, he needs no introduction. Actually, I introduced you already, so if you could join us on stage, Mr. Antoine, Besseyre, the leader of LIXIL Global Design Asia. Now, as you know from our earlier panel discussion, we emphasize this year's theme, and that is very focused on light. So we'll continue with matters involving light, and we'll start with Wiza. Now, you are involved primarily in commercial and corporate office design. For you, how important is natural light in your designs, if you could please expand? And also artificial light as well, how is that being incorporated into your work?
Okay, thank you. Hello everyone, nice to meet you. So, natural light is a very important aspect in the design, because it's, give us sense of connections with the outdoors. Give us the, it's really nice to have a vision to the view, to the greeneries, and as well as its energy savings. And natural lights can be utilized also by, in our essence of numbers of our projects, we are focusing mainly in the commercial or corporate office, and we can utilize this natural light by installing the LUX sensors in the perimeters, in the windows. So these sensors, the technology is basically will identify whether the numbers of lux is adequate or not. If it's already adequate, the light will shut off automatically. So this approach is basically gives the clients energy savings for a long run. So this is only one floor. Can you imagine if this applied to numbers of floors? Yeah? It will save a lot of energies. Yeah? So if we also talk about the artificial lightings, yeah, the technology now also involve as smart lighting systems. So it can control from remotely. It can adjust the brightness, it can adjust the color temperature as well, and also is an integrations with the energy savings programs. I think the manufacturers, the R&D of the LEDs nowadays is working so hard to make the performance of the lighting to make it more and more and more energy savings. I think that will be the trends for the next 10 to 15 years to come.
Thank you for your response there. So really focusing on the advantages of lighting in commercial and corporate spaces. Let's now go over to Jackal. Now you're involved not only in hotels, but also developer showrooms. Quite different, are these two? Can you please tell us how lighting enhances your various projects, please?
Hi everyone. I think lighting is, as an interior designer, it's quite difficult to judge whether it's correct. It's suitable for everyone. But for us to do a design for the hotels, the natural light is quite important because the natural light is giving us to have more space. I mean, creating the area that we design more spacious, and then they also creating a lot of shadow and the orientation of the suns ongoing for the day. So this creating, more different experience for the hotel guests. Come to the showrooms that we did in Malaysia especially. Most of the time our show units or showrooms is created not in an open area. It might hide behind the shops or an area that we didn't have much natural lights. So we need to use a lot of architectural lights and artificial lights to enhance the areas, to create more different ambience, and also to make the products more outstanding.
Okay, let's now come to you, Swaviman. You're in the business of workspace design. Can you expand on how much poor lighting can affect the workforce and what lighting factors are at play?
I would say lighting design itself is a quite an indispensable aspect when it comes to presenting any design or the top layer of design or even the usage or functionality of the whole space. If lighting is defunct, then it becomes difficult. The design is never a hit if the lighting is not perfect. Now coming to workplace design, it is absolutely indispensable here. Back then, in a workplace, lighting used to be a consequential aspect of it, and other factors played into to be the more like a center stage. Now, today in workplace, what's happening is worldwide when it comes to corporate real estate, millions of square footage in terms of buildings are being transacted. Organizations, enterprises are wanting and needing spaces and splurging into having best of the workplaces and facilities worldwide and placing their offices. Now, what's the primal issue here is all these real estate, when it comes to corporate real estate and commercials, they're all glass boxes, and the issue is thousands and thousands of people working for hours and hours are trapped in those glass boxes. That's the issue, right? So how do we address that? And these people working there, talking about the users now, they are cut off from natural views, they are cut off from natural lighting at times. They are working under artificial lighting a lot of times. Their body clock starts, is defined in a very different way. So these are the issues, and that leads to, workplace fatigue, nausea, mental stress, and apathy, can't concentrate and stuff like that. And that's it's a term called sick building syndrome. So lighting definitely plays a very big role here. So we definitely need to solve for these aspects.
All right, so natural light is so extremely important. You don't want your staff to be so stressed and experience all these symptoms that Swaviman just mentioned. We're now going to cross over to Joey. Now he's a casino man, you know, and it's really dark inside there. Not that I visit casinos very often, but there's no natural light, maybe. So please, but you're so passionate about light and lighting.
Thank you. Can I see from the audience how many have, show of hands, how many of you have been into maybe casino in Marina Bay Sands, Macau? Okay, there's quite a few. Thank you, because you guys go, I have work, and I pay my bills. Without you guys contributing to the economy, no, it doesn't work. So, interesting. Lighting from our perspective is actually, the idea of a casino is not so much, the gambling part of it. It used to be that way. But now it's an aspirational idea. So, if anybody has been to, Marina Bay Sands, for example, or something in Macau, the experience of the casino starts way before you even get into the casino itself. It's actually called the integrated resort. The integrated resort is this place that you visit to escape whatever, things that you want to forget for about, maybe a day, for a couple of days. You gamble, maybe, you don't necessarily have to, but you dine. There's a lot of F&B, best F&Bs are there. You get entertained, shows, okay? Shopping, luxury shopping. So we use lighting to allow the guests to experience the parts of the property in different times of the day. Whether it's in the daytime or the evening, right? We want you to be the captured audience. We want you to be the captured audience so that, you don't feel like that you can explore the whole thing at your convenience, whether it's the daytime or at night. But from the casino itself, it's more about creating comfort. And the best design, right, for any casino, casinos are about drama. You go there, there's a lot of lights, there's a lot of music, and it's all about getting entertained. So we use light to entertain you. We use light to make sure that every part of the property that you visit, you go, wow, there is that. Because the best design without the good lighting will not succeed. That's how important lighting is.
All right, so there you go. Lighting can either make or break a hospitality design. You heard it from his perspective. Thank you for that. We're now going to cross over from casinos to bathroom spaces. So we're going to go to Antoine there. We saw so many really impressive footage there you shared with us. My goodness, simplicity merges with sophistication and luxury. So what role can lighting play to enhance wellness in the bathroom?
Right, so obviously my co-panelists talked a lot about the effect of light in the environment, so I'm going to zoom in onto what happens with the products. And obviously when we design products, we cannot really control what will happen from a lighting perspective. But when it comes to light, we know that the shapes will play a very important role on how the light is going to pick up on the details and the shape and so on. So we spend a lot of time reviewing the products in different setups, especially in, I would say, the most common lighting conditions, because we really want to understand how products will be then perceived, right? Are they going to be perceived? We spend so much time crafting details, but at the end of the day, the lighting conditions are not great, then nobody will be able to experience and perceive those things. So we tend to test the products in different lighting conditions to really verify our assumptions and make sure that the details are well crafted so they are perceivable in any kind of light of condition of lighting, right? But there is also something very interesting when it comes to colors. So we show a lot of colors outside, I show a lot of colors in the presentation, and it always struck me, and I have so many years of experience, but it always struck me how a color can radically change a product. So we have different colors from, what we call a cool sunrise, the golden color, or the warm sunset, the slightly warmer tones, or art graphite or black matte. It's incredible how these colors react very differently to light, right? And you apply that to different shades and you'll have like very, very different perception about the products. And on top of that, you apply the finish layer, and that changes again everything. So whether you have something that is very reflective, so with a polish finish, or with a matte finish, again, it changes everything. So that's why, our teams, we spend a lot of time validating the relevance of the color and finishes. So it's not like we offer color and finishes for every single product. We actually specifically choose which color and finish goes for each design. So often, we receive complaint in the market, why don't you have this design available in this color and finishes? Because at the end of the day, we know that this color or finish doesn't quite work or actually completely dilutes the product design. So this is one aspect of how the product reacts to the light. And then there is the other aspect, which is how do you utilize, how does the product provide light? And also, light, it's like sun or water. It can energize you, it can relaxes you. So bringing light into the product, and we have some examples again outside, I show some examples in the presentation, is combining light and eventually sun with some of these showering technology. Those water technology can really dial up, really enhance the showering experiences. Because again, depending on the time of the day, whether you want something that calms you down or something that energizes you, we can really play with this kind of light. That's why we integrate light into those showering solutions. But there is also light as safety. For example, some of our products, those very intelligent toilet, we provide light, so there is a sensor. And what we want is, we don't want people to have to switch on the light. I think we all have experienced that, you wake up in the middle of the night, you need to go to the bathroom, the last thing you want is switch on the light and wake up, right? It's a terrible feeling. That's why these toilets react to you, right? They react to you, and as soon as you come inside the bathroom, they just basically provide a very smooth lighting the environment, just enough for you to know where the toilet is, but not in a way that will completely wake you up. So I think we're talking about very similar things in a way, how light shapes basically the experiences we have, with products or environments.
Wow, thank you so much for that response. I think we've got a lot to consider now. It's light as well as the color and the surfaces and the finishing. Thank you. Let's go now to Kun Saivipa. So, talking about the future of lighting now, what are your hopes for what technological advances in lighting can deliver?
I think going back a little bit to Kun Swaviman mentioned about our body clock and how that reacts to light and natural light. So it's our circadian rhythm. And so basically in the morning we have more blue light, more intensity, and that energizes and makes us more productive. And in the evening we have a warmer light, and that calms us down, preparing us for sleep. And so we're working in a hotel project for our Trivananda Wellness Resort in Phuket. And actually one of the residences' villa offer an option of a circadian technology. So artificial lighting that can emulate natural light. So we talk about light temperature, but it doesn't have to remain the same throughout the whole day. So in the morning it can adjust to a cooler tone to energize you, but in the evening it can then adjust to a warmer tone to relax you and prepare you for sleep. And also there's a factor of the lack of light. For best sleep, we have to provide complete blackouts as well. So at the moment it's offered as an option, but I think it will be exciting to see that utilized more and more in projects. And again, to come back to our well-being, and well-being with the lighting and also the biophilic design can create, enhance creativity, productivity, and connect us back to nature.
We'll talk more about the biophilia aspect of it all shortly, but before we jump there, if I can come back to you, Swaviman, what are your predictions for lighting of the future? What is this, li-fi? Perhaps?
I would say lighting, we are doing immense research in terms of lighting these days, and there's a lot of experimentation happening. We've done a few spaces which are like completely li-fi, which is a workspace where the light itself, it's a very miraculous aspect that I'm right now sharing with all you guys. So it's called light fidelity, which is basically the light itself would be transmitting data at a very high speed, much higher than Wi-Fi. It's quite extensively being used in workspace. So that's something which would be positioning devices and data within the spaces. I mean, apart from Li-Fi, I would also touch upon some emotional aspect when it comes to design. It's not just the functional aspect of it. Today we are looking at art installations itself, I mean, which is integrated with lighting, which exudes the brand reflection. It talks about a very different emotion. It talks about the vibe and the zing that you want to create. So art installation is again something where light is integrated, and that is again kind of looking at future that is coming in. There's a concept called diffuse, where like direct hitting light, which is a lot of blazing and blaring onto eyes. I mean, the whole space itself, if we can look at indirect lighting, which is bouncing off surfaces, but you can't see the source. Like he was mentioning about a lot about product itself being the hero in the center, but also the experience that we are having within. So a soothing light, more diffuse kind of environment where you can't see the light source is again something we're researching on.
Great, that sounds good. Good luck with all the experimentation there, and we look forward to getting all the updates once you're ready to share. Wiza, what's your take? What kind of lighting technologies can we expect to see in the workplace in the near future?
Okay. Well, lighting is basically what makes the space have positive emotions, right? Since I work in office, corporate office, commercial office design, corporate office design it's not space like this. It's dark over there, and it's have direct light like this. It's about you can work with really comfortable arrangements. So it's but on top of that, corporations have need to be economically responsible also. So the challenge in the near future for the office is how can the energy consumptions for this office space is not that high, still in efficient way, but in another approach, the spaces need to be have proper lightings for, let's say, for example, for the lobby, for the receptions, for the meeting rooms as well. So there are a couple of technologies such as human detection system as well, the technology and the smart lighting system that can minimize the like, for example, the people forget to turn off the lights, it can be turned off automatically, and in the end it will help to reduce the energy consumption for the office. Yeah. I think that's what works in the office and commercials.
Let's now focus on wellness. Now, earlier on today, in the first panel discussion of the day, we really highlighted wellness, and so did Antoine. You really emphasized that, the importance of wellness. And let's go back to Saivipa. What does wellness mean to you, if you can share, please?
I think you mentioned this earlier. Human, or maybe you mentioned this earlier. Human have an affinity. They want to connect to nature. Nature is healing and it promotes well-being. So how can we bring nature into our habitable spaces? And that can be through natural light, natural ventilation, or artificial lighting that mimics natural light. But it can be also through actual plants, so having nature elements in, let's say, an office space, if there's a common area with plants or garden to help reduce stress. But other than that, we can also utilize that in our selections of materials. But we have to balance humans may want to be in a space that's all with wood or stone, but we have to be sensitive to our sustainable and looking after our environment. So we have to source that from sustainable sources or locally sourced, or we can rely on synthetic materials. Now, synthetic materials, they still give us, there's still cues in our brains that connect us to nature. Let's say like a wood pattern tile or stone ceramic tile. Although it may not be as effective as using real materials, but we can really be sustainable in our selections. And technology and materials constantly improves. For example, we use a lot of, let's say, wood textured tiles because a lot of maintenance issue with natural wood. We don't want to put that on a project. So going to ceramic tiles, people would complain that it's so cold on the feet, you know. But I've seen some newer innovations that tiles that are not so cold, and they look very realistic with the 3D printing. I had to take off my shoes to test, like, is this really synthetic? And once I bare feet and I'm still not sure, I try to scratch the surface to see if it's real or not. So I think technology and materials to bring nature to be closer to us while not imposing onto nature is really developing really well. So I think it's up to us to really source and promote and support those technology.
Okay, thank you there for your thoughts. We're now going to move on to biophilia and biophilic designs. Now that's humans interacting or being very close to other forms of life, or being close to nature. And I believe, actually we've heard from many of you that it's so important in the office for higher productivity. And what about in hotels? So over to you, Jackal. How important is biophilia and biophilic design when it comes to hotels? Should also be very important, no? Natural elements.
Yeah, natural elements is very important. Like now we are living in a technology world, using mic, yes, LED screens, we are using our phones, everything talking about technologies. But come to biophilic design, that we are using most of the items, not only the materials, but the ideas that is come to the natural elements. For example, like we going to hiking, that we are covered by all the trees. When we go to the beach side, we have a white sand, we have the wave from the oceans. They give us more experience to relaxation. So when we do the design for the hotels, we also hope that we can give a same experience for the hotel guests, that when they go to hotels, they're not only using the facilities or just only very aesthetic design, but they can come to the feeling that they can enjoy the hotel's design and the services they provided by the hotels. Like one of the hotels that we did it before, I think we submitted this year, that is located in Genting Highlands in Malaysia, is surrounded by the jungle hotels. So we come to an idea to implementing the urban jungle design. Although we didn't able to use of a lot of natural materials for the hotels, but the idea they're giving to the client, that they build this hotel to make sure the hotel guests really can enjoy when they're in the hotel itself. They still have a feeling to back to the nature. So.
Okay, I'm going to now go over to Joey. Would you agree? Wellness and biophilia, they go together, and it's so important that it's bringing the outside in. But it's also about the maintenance of these elements. So if you could share with us, tell us about the journey that you go on with your clients.
Okay, a lot of us enjoy the outdoors. You know, it's natural because we like light. In my case, for the projects I do, we create these massive structures that is quite the opposite of that. And, you know, but at the same time, we want to keep you in so you can continue to enjoy yourself. So it's very natural for that idea of outdoors to be kind of integrated to a lot of what we do. But one of the things that I always caution my clients when doing this is quite a commitment, you know. There's a lot of things times that you go to an opening of a property, you know, you see green walls, lots of plants, and
Water features.
water features. Then you come back 6 months later, a year later, and all this doesn't look that great anymore. Because there's that component of this idea that needs to be, thought out in the long term. A lot of my clients actually build horticulture departments within their projects to kind of maintain these things and make sure that people continue to enjoy them long term. So it's important, but it's also important to think of the commitment, because it is a commitment. Without that commitment, it's just another failed experiment.
We're really running out of time here, but just let me check, are there any questions or any thoughts that any member of the audience would like to share, please, now or possibly during the break? So the final round of questions here, if you could leave a message to encourage the next generation, what would it be, and what should their main focus be on? Or just some final words from you, please. Maybe we start from Antoine then, and then we'll come down here.
So you guys have a bit more time to think. I think I was listening to my co-panelists. It's always very inspiring to, I hope for you, but to be part of a panel, because we always come to different perspectives. I think the whole idea of, connecting back to nature and to our nature. So as human beings, I think that's for me is something, I work on products that are manufactured, but at the end of the day, these products, we have to use them as humans, right? So never forgetting the human element is something extremely important, right? We use the products, we live in these environments. So yeah, sometimes we tend to over-design things, right? Create statements, create effects, gimmicks. So never forgetting that products have to be used by humans, spaces have to be have to be experienced by humans. And to nature, of course, because we talk about scarcity, about sustainability. So resources are limited, right? And eventually, we've got to think more carefully about the way we do things. So something like modular product architecture in the case of product design is something where we allow iterations, customizations, so maybe less but better products. So there's a lot of interesting. So in a nutshell, thinking nature and not forgetting our nature.
All right, and over to Kun Saivipa.
Oh dear, that's not enough time for me to think. No, I think two things. I think one is to keep pushing our innovations in materials, because I think we can't always quarry our stones. We can't always use our forests in time with all the developments that we are doing, and all these innovations can answer our connection to nature, as well as not destroying the nature. And I think my other point is going back to lighting, and I think just to reiterate Joseph about how light can make or break interior design. I think in another life I would be a lighting designer. So I think for everyone, for designers to think like, no matter how beautiful your feature wall is, however much expensive, one-of-a-kind stone, anything, if you have bad lighting, it's going to disappear down the drain. I think lighting can really enhance your design, and even sometimes if there's no design, great lighting can really create a dramatic moment. So I think designers should really think about, because we see things through light, so we have to design with light in mind.
And Wiza, it's your turn now.
Okay. So when we have a meeting with our clients, sometimes clients just see the 3D design, proposed design. But I think we as the designer, we have to think that good design actually is not only beautiful aesthetically, but also need to support a number of things, like the wellness, the sustainability, the advancement of the technology inside, and how to create a space that efficiently, productively, in order for the long run to make the occupants have improving their quality of life. I think that's my point of view.
Thank you. Joey, what are your thoughts?
Somebody told me a long time ago that when we design, we sometimes forget the idea of what we're trying to do. I guess one of the things I learned and I've kind of implemented in everything I do as far as design is concerned is to have a purpose. When you design, everything about that room, whether it's a small room or a small building, everything that is within that space should have a purpose. Without that purpose, it does not belong into that space. Simple as that. Then your design becomes, everybody enjoys it and understands what it's about. Have a purpose.
All right, so it's about the purpose. Okay, over to you, Jackal.
I think most of the points have been talking about it.
It's difficult, isn't it, to be among the last to speak?
So sometimes lies is not good. But I think if we as a designer, when we do a design, we really need to back to the simple rules, back to simple, back to the zero, that we can do something not only based on aesthetics, based on what we need to enhance our ideas, but we are designed for the human being, we are designed for the people. So we need to come to the idea that the design is really useful and like they all say, sustainability. Thank you.
Thank you. And last but not least, of course, Swaviman.
I would talk from a workplace point of view, since that's what we do. And the workplace used to be, it's no more drab and mundane as it used to be. It used to be more functional driven. Now things are taking a diametric shift. So now it's all about the experiences that we curate within those designs and spaces that we do. A lot of sensorial aspects are coming into picture, and that really excites me. It's not about just the products and the finish or just the lighting, just that itself, but it's all cumulative. And when it comes to that, all cumulative together, it's all about neurodiverse design coming into play, where what we see, what we feel, auditory aspects, so that changes the whole drama and of that whole space. So experiences are something that we should definitely focus on, and how we curate those while designing is something that I would mention here.
Plenty of points to ponder indeed. A big round of applause thanking
Patchari, I think we have a question.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Alexander. You do have a question, a quick one.
Okay, yeah, very quick. So, because my good friends, Jackal and Wiza are both on stage, so I promise I will get involved with the dialogue. And
Excellent.
Thank you very much, everyone. I think you did a great job and gave us a lot of ideas. When I was listening, then I thought that maybe I would add that as designers, we don't think of one very important aspect when we do lighting design. That is, we talk about lighting the environment, the nature, and and the ambience and the color and the all the logical effects of color, but and light. But the important thing is actually us. I mean, how people are lit. We never talk about that. More like a director, we have to think about how, when you do a film, of course, it's all about lighting, not just the environment, not the kitchen or bathroom but also how the characters are being lit. And in fact, that is really important, because if you see people, if you go to a restaurant, for example, and everyone looks kind of, not so well lit, then that puts you in a bad mood, because you feel that you are probably not well lit. And therefore you don't think you are good looking or pretty enough. And therefore that it has a very negative effect. And I think we as designers always think that we're dealing with dead objects, or plants, which are not dead objects, but still, we don't think enough about the people moving in the space that we spend hours and days and weeks and years designing. So I think that is something that is important for us to remember. And from what this idea just came to me when I was listening to you guys, because I think that in itself is very important. And now with social media more than ever, because you have to take selfies or take photographs together, and you have to, make sure that the camera does some tricks on the photographs because you're so badly lit. So I think in future, as designers, we have to think of how people are lit, not just the space that we're designing.
Right.
So that's what I want to add.
Fantastic.
Thank you very much, everyone.
And thank you as well. And as you can see, this discussion here was very inspiring. And so, yes, therefore, we are going to continue the dialogue. It's not done just yet. I believe we have another gentleman here. Yes, our good friend from India.
Yeah.
The light is blinding me here. But
Thank
yes.
you. I don't want to take much time, but this is not a question, but whatever that I've been indulging in some studies here. Like one statistic which is very glaring is since the invention of the electric bulb in 1860s. Before 1860s, the average sleep time was about 9 hours. And today it has reduced to 6.5. And the statistics say that the invention of the electric bulb has a great effect on our health and well-being, and that has to be considered because the mechanism, what happens is when the light hits your retina, it goes and hits your suprachiasmatic nucleus, which actually controls your pituitary controls your thyroid controls your endocrine system. And I have also come across some research papers which said that LED causes diabetes, which is closely linked to your endocrine system. And we have seen so much of progress technologically, the light has intruded our lives. We are not sleeping by sunset. Our lives have extended into the night, light has invaded, and we need to really take it very seriously, the light pollution. We are not looking at just the physical pollution that is happening, but the light pollution, and we have to imagine that light is only a minuscule part of the whole electromagnetic spectrum. And then the Wi-Fi that the gentleman was referring to is also loaded with a lot of questions. We need to responsibly go forward because that Wi-Fi can actually modify and destroy your DNA. Thank you.
Thank you to you as well. So I'd like to conclude. I mean, we brought up so many important elements, but we really also need to look inwards, look towards humans, to people, to our bodies, and to our health. All right, so that's going to wrap up our panel discussion. Once again, a big round of applause, please.